Hi folks, it's Jordan here with the VGC. I have finished Star Wars Outlaws and I asked for your questions for this review Q&A. We've got questions from X, formerly Twitter, and we've also got questions from the Star Wars Outlaws subreddit. So thanks to everyone who contributed a question. Apologies if I'm looking down, I'm reading a screen. You can go and check out my full review of Star Wars Outlaws on VGC, and you can also check out our Reviewers Roundtable right here on YouTube. First question from Night Vista on Reddit. Can you walk around the ship while in space? No, the ship is not walk aroundable while you're in space, only when you are on a planet. Next question. Can you customize what you wear at all? Is there any gear progression? That is from Assholio1989, big Taylor Swift fan. Yes, you can customize what you wear, and it does have some gameplay benefits. For example, certain outfits will make you less detectable by the Empire, for example. There's no gear score or anything like that, but there is somewhat of a gear progression. Next question. Baka J93, Baka Juniors perhaps. Can you just start a random fight with stormtroopers in cities, or bring the fight into a city? I heard they lock your weapon use when you're inside a city, so you can't pull a GTA. Bummer if true, would love to ambush stormtroopers like the scene in Rogue One. No, you cannot shoot your gun in the city. They stop you pulling it out. There's also stealth sections where they stop you pulling it out. You can basically only go buck wild shooting people when you're in the open sections of the open world. So no, you cannot pull a GTA. N-Tippet, any cosmetic changes to the blaster throughout the game? Yes, there are a lot of different blaster skins that you can get throughout the game. The Canadian Empire. Shouts out to my folks over in London. How in depth is the customization for Kay? Can I change her hair, makeup, tattoos, etc. like we saw in Valhalla or Breakpoint? No, not really. It's mostly jackets, bandoliers and trousers. No makeup, none of that kind of thing, unfortunately. Blaze Trail 77, any space stations to visit or similar? There are a couple. There are Imperial stations that you've probably seen in the pre-release gameplay. There's that, and there's a couple more that I shan't spoil. There's not thousands of them. You can't really just go explore and find a load of different space stations, but there are some. Next question comes from Xbox Snub Snipes. I remember reading an interview / article where Associate World Director Chloe Hammond mentioned co-owning a moisture farm on Tatooine as a source of passive income. Is there anything you can do to upgrade, customize the farm, and is there co-ownership in the game? Is there other co-ownerships in the game like the farm, but on other planets? That is not true, unfortunately. As the next person says, that was clarified following that, but I know that's gone about. So just to be clear, that is not in the game. There is a moisture farm though, right next to Toshi Station. Next question. Salty Viewer, does the Commando Droid Companion, I assume he means ND5, assist you in any missions? Or is he just a pilot always on comms? 99% of the time he is just on comms. There are some missions where he appears, but I'll leave it at that. He's not in like your open world or your side missions or anything of the sort. The next question comes from Blazer. How much of the game is mandatory stealth missions? Way more than you'd think. Quinners206, what's the music like? Is there stuff like the Katina Band, like we heard in Jedi Fallen Order, or Survivors? Does it feel very Star Wars? I think the music's great. Obviously, a lot of it's got John Williams inflections, but a lot of the music is new compositions, and I think that generally the music is great. The Cantina music, it's not the Jizz Whalers, it's not do 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 etc. But the band that's there is cool. I would really highly recommend exploring the Mos Eisley Cantina to the fullest, because that's where the best kind of nerdy Star Wars stuff is. Burn the Believer, what's the highest frame rate on PS5? It has a 30 FPS mode for quality, it has a 40 FPS mode for favors quality if you have a TV that can handle it, which I do. That's how I played the game. Looked okay. And a 60 FPS mode, which looks very bloody, but it's 60 FPS. I can't believe we're already at this mid-gen point where we can't get nice visuals and a good frame rate, but hey ho. Next question. Can you play after completing the game? This is from Seon Tompa. Yes, you can play it after completing the game. There's no missions that get locked out after completing the game. You are just dropped back into the world and it says, go ahead, complete all your syndicate missions, complete all the side missions, which is the absolute way to do it. So yes, you can play after you complete the game. And there's also a point of no return warning during the main story quest. Yorick CFC says, can we customize the look of the ship? One of the reasons, other than the price, I'm not pre-ordering is the way the ship looks, and I hope we can change it over the course of the story. You cannot change the physical look of the ship, but you can change the paint color, the color of the exhaust, and there's like little charms in your cockpit you can change, but you can't change like the physical shape. Kilgore, are the side quests good quality? Are we on like The Witcher 3 writing level or Starfield bland fetch quests? It's not The Witcher 3. I think the side quests do have good writing to them. The writing is better than the objective, if you follow my drift. A lot of the things you're doing are go to this area, collect this thing, run back from this area, but I think that the quality of the writing and the reason you're doing it is interesting. It disguises the fact that it is quite fetch questy, but no, it's not. If you're looking for Witcher 3 style side quests, you will be disappointed. Aureus23 says, is there hand-to-hand combat? Kay is a MMA master apparently, because she can punch stormtroopers straight through the helmets. That's pretty much it. Is there a skill tree? No, there is an experts system. That's from Daddy1C3. There's an expert system where various characters in the game set you challenges, you complete those, and you get perks. TR Disrespect, can you get quests in the from the NPCs like in the cantina, or just have dialogue with them? So it's a mix. Sometimes you will have dialogue with an NPC that will pop up a quest, or will give you intel which will lead you to the proper start of a quest. So it is mixed. Sometimes you just talk to people in the cantina and they give you like flavor text about characters you've met. It doesn't feel super robotic that way, which I did enjoy. Spiralink, how big are the cities? Can we fully explore Mos Eisley, or just a segment that's actually traversable and the rest locked off by stormtrooper blockades? Mos Eisley is fully explorable, and I think Mos Eisley and Tatooine are the best bits in the game. It's hard to divorce the idea that it's just intoxicating as a Star Wars fan to explore Tatooine, but I did think those bits were great. Kijimi is fully explorable. Tosharna, Miragana, the city in Tosharna, has the illusion of being fully explorable. Like, it's deep, but it's kind of rounded off. Like, you imagine the actual city would be far larger, but there's a lot to look for in there. Lilvia asks on Twitter, thank you, does the game feel like there will be hours and hours, days upon days of content, or perhaps for a working adult with a family? I'm talking like how vast and unending Valhalla seemed to be. I know this isn't made by the same team, thanks for the Q&A. Well, thank you for asking a question. No, it's much more manageable than those like ludicrous Assassin's Creed games where you open the map and it expands for 14 working days. This feels like a game that you could platinum or 100% in like 30 hours. You can get through the campaign in like 10 to 15, so much more manageable. That's actually one of the better things about it. Jamie Hartigan asks, do you feel like they've handicapped themselves by setting it between Empire and Jedi in terms of what this and any potential sequels can do with the Star Wars canon? Or do you have faith that if there's another one, they'll be given it more freedom? I think the setting is a great choice because it gives you a 1 year part of the main like kind of Skywalker saga where Luke, Leia, and Han are off doing their own thing. Well, Han is kind of just hanging around at that point, but it means that you're not bumping into them. You're not doing the Battlefront 2 campaign thing where every level is, oh, I can't believe it, look who it is. So I think like the Jedi games have shown, you can set things in a time period adjacent to the Skywalker adventures and still have an interesting story, because there's a huge wide galaxy going on, and I truly believe that not every Star Wars story has to be feeding into the Skywalker saga, but can also exist in a world where those events are happening parallel, as you will see later in Outlaws. Chris Davis, from the limited perspective of someone who has only played the base game, do you consider this to be a day one pickup, or would be waiting for the roadmap DLC be a better call? I think this is a good Christmas game, to be honest, mainly because Ubisoft has been discounting this stuff so quickly recently that I'm not sure you should be spending the 70 bones on it, but you'll see my review as 3 stars. It's a 3-star in the sense that it's good, like it's good fun to play, it just doesn't do anything amazingly, and the ideas that it sets out at the start don't get capitalized on, but you could play this through and have a good time with it. What's wrong with like a generic kind of 7 out of 10 game? Like, a lot of Star Wars media is generic 7 out of 10 and it's still fun and enjoyable. It just doesn't smash the medium forward anyway. I say this in my review, I think a sequel to this game will be amazing, and I really hope they get to do it because I love Massive, and I think that team has the potential to do an amazing Star Wars game. This is a good first shout, much like how Fallen Order was a good first shout and then Survivor was much better. I think there is a real chance for that to happen here. Sorry, that was a total tangent. Spiderfan77 asks, what are the contract missions like? Are they like Radiant quests that auto-generate? If so, how is the variety? Do they get repetitive quickly? Or are they actually fun? The contract missions are a bit kind of generic. It's a lot of go here, steal this, go here, steal that. There is some interest in them, in the fact that some of them will be like, high risk, you only get one shot at this, so if you die, you fail the chance at the mission. But there's nothing that can be locked out that way. Like, there's not a piece of gear associated with that. It's mostly just reputation and credits. I think the Syndicate missions are much better, much more involved. Cyanide asks, Ubisoft are well known for their formulaic gameplay loops. Does this suffer the same traps, or do the mechanics feel more organic and varied? Imagine I could speak English. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel contrite and kind of generic in a it doesn't feel trite and generic in a Ubisoft way. It feels trite and generic in other ways. I think you're not going to get organic and varied. There's not much emergent gameplay here. It's very kind of by the numbers. Uncharted in space is the easiest way to talk about it, but it's not a Ubisoft game. If you're maybe turned off by this because you're like, I can't be bothered playing more Ubisoft style open worlds, it's not one of those. Noah, if you're able to access it, does the content in the premium Ultimate Season Pass feel like cut content? Money is subjective, so harder to ask here. Does the content feel worth the extra asking price? We have not been able to see that stuff at the time of writing, apart from, I think I've been given some of the costumes, but I mean, costumes in it. Jacob Bench, Ubisoft games usually don't have a strong narrative. Would you say this game has a strong story? Do the side quests offer interesting stories worth doing? Interesting stories worth doing, definitely in the side quests. Strong story is probably strong, but it is a good story. It's an enjoyable story. It is I think Kay and Nyx are a great duo. Like, I like them as a protagonist pair, but strong would maybe not be the way to describe it. It's good in a Star Warsy way, you know. It's not Andor, it's more Rogue One. Pro wrestling is real, correct? How does the cast stack up in relation to more recent Star Wars games like Jedi series and Squadrons? Nyx and Kay remind me of Cal and BD, not just because it's like a person with like an adorable pal, but one of them can't speak and the other one has to carry the entire game themselves, and they do it well. So I think that's a good indication of what they managed to achieve here. Umberly Gonzalez, sorry. Great performance. She is a really warm character, and I hope she gets to play Kay in live action. And finally, Hazy says, how does this play in comparison to other Ubi games? Is it just Star Wars skin over Watch Dogs? Yeah, Kay wears her iconic hat. No, it's probably closer to Watch Dogs than it is Assassin's Creed in terms of the stealth and the kind of things you're doing, but I wouldn't say it's particularly Watch Dogs. It's kind of its own thing. It's a bit Uncharted. So maybe Uncharted meets Watch Dogs, but I don't think there's a clean analog for it in games. That's not to say that it's like really unique. It just takes a lot of things from a lot of good games, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Anyway, thank you for submitting your questions and sticking around for this review Q&A. Go and read the full review, check out the Reviewers Roundtable, and check out patreon.com/videogameschronicle for more podcasts, more videos, and you support the site. Until next time, I'm Jordan Midler. See you later.